we go on a Wednesday. It's Mr. Irrelevant, presented by Door County Distillery with you. ESPN Madison on YouTube, ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube. I'm Alex Strouf with you from the Gruber Law Offices. One Call That's All Studios at the Avenue in beautiful downtown Milwaukee. Josh DiMaggio with me as well. Producer Tiny Hands, the Beaver Dam famous Tiny Hands. Hunter Vaughn back in the Everlight Solar Studio. So famous that the two hosts from the Dam Sports Show on ESPN Beaver Dam, Cory, Sparks, Wally, Lacachinsky, will join us in about 30 or so minutes to break down Hunter's weekly hit with them, as well as talk about a slew of other things. So we'll get to that in about a half an hour with Cory and Wally. We've got a lot to dive into between the Packers and the Brewers and everything going on. One word ahead of Week 5 in the NFL, and, of course, Cory and Wally joining us. Big show today. I'm feeling good. Hunter, how'd it go yesterday on the Dam Sports Show? Went well?
Yeah, I think it went well. Talked some Badgers, talked a little bit of Packers, and then, of course, high school football. So it's a big week for high school football coming up. A lot of big top 10 matchups.
Yeah, so let's peek behind the curtain for a moment. So I said last week, we should probably have one or both of them on to critique your performance. And I saw they were talking about, using a rubric. Hunter, I got to give you credit, but I'm also going to give you a hard time in the same breath.
Why?
I'm impressed. I'm impressed with your ability to guest book when it relates to you.
Whoa, hang on. You said last week, let's do this on Wednesday. Okay, fine.
Yep.
So I'll just make that happen. At no point since we have done this show for over a year have you and I ever had the conversation about booking guests. The one time we did have the conversation about it was because a teammate of ours within this company knew Jack Golke from playing JUCO ball with him, or D2 ball with him. You then went through another teammate that works with him instead of through your own producer. Otherwise, we've never talked about me booking guests for this show, except this one time, and you said, hey, do this, and I did it. So you're not going to throw me under the bus like this.
I don't think I ever said, hey, do this.
You said, we are going to do this on Wednesday. You literally said those words,
and you executed. Hey, you executed. I'm giving you credit. Don't get defensive.
You are giving me credit while also throwing me under the bus at the same exact time, and I'm not going to be here for it.
Exactly. I thought that was well done by me. I thought I skewed the line well.
No,
but clearly not well enough. Yeah, that's fair. Hunter, did you turn the Brewer game off last night?
I didn't. I came very close though. Like, I just got to the point where I'm like, I don't need to do this. But
hold on, keep talking.
Okay. Yeah, I was... As soon as the Mets tied it up, I was like, oh, I know what's going to happen here. Like, and it just felt like I was watching the inevitable, and it was that just sucked. But I was still locked in because it's playoff baseball, and I love it.
It's playoff baseball. Anything can happen, but ultimately, the Brewers do fall in Game 1 of the wild card series, 8-4 at AmFam Field last night. That fifth inning was just disastrous. They're up 4-3 entering the fifth. They allow 5 runs in the fifth. Ultimately, that was all it took. 8-4, your final. Yeah, I mean, where do we start in that fifth inning? I mean, we can start with where we started, which was a terrific catch, robbing a home run by the superstar known as Jackson Chourio. That's where that fifth inning began. And then the next batter, Jackson Chourio is surprisingly not charged with an error, but ultimately makes a bad read on the ball, can't come up with it, get runners on, and then you have Joel Payamps, not covering first base when he should be, which leads to more runs. So you had 2 opportunities for a third out. I understand the Chourio out would have been technically out 2. But would have led to 3 outs, and you missed both of those opportunities. That would have led you to 3 outs. So a 5-run score in the fifth for the Mets. The Brewers out-hit the Mets 8-7, and they still fall 8-4. Look, it was not pretty. It was exactly what you've grown used to, unfortunately, in terms of the Milwaukee Brewers in the postseason. They find ways to get you all excited, excitable. And then they let you down. I am going to the game tonight. I've had tickets purchased for about a week and a half. And I'm wearing black on accident. because I refuse to attend a funeral tonight when it comes to the Milwaukee Brewers in Game 2. I refuse. The Brewers will not lose tonight. I refuse to attend a funeral of the Brewers season. It is nerve-wracking, though. I believe since the wild card has been expanded, that teams that lose Game 1, I believe they are 2-14. If I'm remembering the stat they showed on the ESPN broadcast last night, I believe they are 2-14 in terms of the series. Right? It's a 3-game series. You got to win 2 in a row. Now, the nice part is the Brewers have done that many times this year. They won a lot of series in the regular season, and they won several when they lost Game 1. But now they've got to do it with all the chips on the table. For all the marbles, you can't lose again to the New York Mets. You cannot lose again or else your season is over. I thought the Brewers actually showed some nice things yesterday, right? I thought offensively, you saw some moments from some guys they're not used to. Bryce Terang was really good offensively. Sal Frelick had a nice double, which, coming off of the injury he's coming off of, it was his first game back. By no means is Sal, I'm a super fan of Sal Frelick. By no means is he terrific offensively. I will never make that case, but I thought he made a crucial play offensively early in that one yesterday with that double that led to a run. And so you saw some guys come through that you're typically not used to seeing come through offensively. I mean, obviously, you'd like to see some things go a little better. Garrett Mitchell 0 for 3, Willie Adames 0 for 3, Rhys Hoskins 0 for 3. But still with the RBI for him. So, I don't know. Joey Ortiz 0 for 4, but in the 9-hole. You gotta make something happen today. I'm intrigued to see what the lineup looks like in a couple of hours. This is for all the marbles, and it's a little nerve-wracking because I got to be honest with you. For the Mets that were coming off of a crucial game Sunday, a crucial doubleheader Monday, having to fly to Milwaukee and play a relatively early game yesterday, I did not think they'd be awake offensively, and they were nothing but awake offensively, especially in that 5th inning, Hunter.
Yeah, and I'm almost a little more worried about Pat Murphy. And, we always saw...
Do you think he's overcorrecting, given that he pulled Freddie so early?
Yes.
You think he's almost overcorrecting and pulling a Craig Counsell in some ways?
Yep. And I'm wondering if this isn't an organizational thing and just the way that pitching gets managed throughout the entire Milwaukee Brewers organization, and this is just what it is until they maybe overhaul some of that. But it's really hard because these are also the same guys for pitching coaches and everything that have turned this organization into a just pitcher factory and just keep churning out prospects into great pitchers. So it's really hard, but at the same time, I don't know what to do about it because I thought it would be different. And we were starting to see the signs late in the season, especially with the way that he would handle Devin Williams late in games and when he was pulling guys or putting in other guys. That's what I'm the most worried about is if the Brewers don't get up 5-0 by the 5th inning or something, that somebody's going to get brought in when they shouldn't, and they're going to blow that lead.
Yeah, no, it's an important part. And, listening to Pat Murphy's answer, which was essentially he wasn't throwing his best stuff. It's the playoffs. We need to win in terms of pulling Freddie Peralta as early as he did. It is a move they've made for years now. And it's a good point by you. I don't know. I don't know the answer to it, but that sucked. There's no other way to put it, right? Wisconsin sports have this way of getting our hopes up, and then I see David making the point in the YouTube chat. I'm really good at kicking people when they're down. I said I'm really good. It's one of my top skills. It is one of my top skills. I am good at kicking people when they're down. I will not kick Pat Murphy when he's down. I will not kick Jackson Chourio when he's down. I will not kick Freddie Peralta when he's down. I thought yesterday's game was winnable, and the 5th inning is what ruined it for the Brewers. And obviously they couldn't get runs when they needed to most, and that was disappointing. But it is what it is. You got to win 2 in a row. And are the Brewers capable of winning 2 in a row? I think so. I think they are. I think they're a good team, right? We've seen this team be as, as scratch and clawy as any team in Major League Baseball all season. the injuries, the bajillion different starting pitchers, the double-digit different guys that recorded saves this season. And when you think about the way the Brewers led the division pretty much the entirety of the year and found ways to win ball games, if there's a team capable of coming back down 1-0 and winning 2-1 in a wild card series at home, it's the Milwaukee Brewers. You need a good outing from Frankie Montas today. You don't necessarily need it, I guess, because you can exhaust some bullpen arms. But it would really help if you got a good outing from Frankie Montas today. If you get 5 good innings from Frankie, I think you're going to put yourself in a really good position to win game 2, and then it comes down to tomorrow night. But even if he doesn't, I think offensively is what you worry more about. Can this team get hits at the right time? Can they score with runners in scoring position, something they struggled with for a majority of this season? That's the part I'm most curious to see. Right? Everybody's had moments this year, whether it's Jackson Churia, whether it's Bryce Terang, whether it's Joey Ortiz, whether it's William Contreras, whether it's Rhys Hoskins. Everybody's offensively had moments this year. But that doesn't matter anymore. That doesn't matter. What matters is winning a frickin' ball game tonight. And winning a ball game last night, which you missed the opportunity to. So now you've got to do it in 3 rather than in 2, and you're coming from behind. Your back is against the wall. The one nice part about this Pat Murphy-led team when it comes to having your back up against the wall is they have shown and proven they're capable of responding when their back is up against the wall. But there's no bigger stage than tonight. There is no bigger stage than Game 2 tonight at AmFam Field. The Brewers need to respond. I don't think I need to spell that out for you any more than I already have. Hunter, go ahead.
I think tonight we are going to see a lot of movement on the base paths for the Brewers. I think if somebody gets on, just about anybody on this roster, they're going to be looking to steal second. And if they can keep that pressure on, I think there's even going to be a lot of bunting. If the guys hit doubles to lead off, they are going to do everything they can to scratch every single run out of this game that they possibly can. Like, my hope is that they maybe end up out of the first 4 innings, they get a single run in each inning. Obviously, we want more than that, but like it could be that level of a game where they're like, you know what, we're just going to try and get a run every single inning and just scratch it across as much as we can and see if we can just get through this one game. Because then you put the pressure back on the Mets too, to be able to close it out in a Game 3 at Milwaukee. But right now, 100% of the pressure is on the Brewers because the Mets do still have another game. So I think this is going to be a small ball type of game today for the Brewers. I say that, and they're going to hit like 4 home runs, and it'll be like a 12-10 game. But I wouldn't be surprised if they're just like, we need to manufacture as many runs as we can as often as possible.
100%. 100%. So we will see. We will see. Where's your... what did we say? Panic meter is what we did last year with the Bucks leading into the playoffs. Down 1-0, Hunter. Where's your panic meter for the Milwaukee Brewers?
I'm at a 9. I'm freaking out.
Yeah, it's got to be high. It's got to be high.
I hate this because
if they win yesterday, you're at like a 3.
Yeah, exactly. And before the game even started, I was at like a 2 because I'm just like, you know what? It's house money. Like, I did not expect this out of this team at all. They were wire-to-wire winners of the NL Central in a year that they were picked to finish second to last. Like, this is awesome. But then the second that the playoff game started, I'm like, no, I want this. I want them in the World Series. I want them to finally get over the hump. I don't care about anything else that has happened. I don't care about how young this team is. I want that World Series championship, and I want it so bad, and now I'm freaking out because it's probably going to slip through my fingers yet again, and I hate it.
Fair. Okay, well, I refuse to attend a funeral. We'll see you Friday when the Brewers are moving on. Whew. Okay, we'll get to a bunch of NFL stuff coming up next. We've also got to get to Wally, Lacachinsky, and Cory Sparks in about 20 minutes. Lots to get to. All right, deep breaths, everybody. And if you need to cope, pour yourself some Door County Distillery. Locally produced, handcrafted, award-winning spirits made locally in beautiful Door County. Football season's whiskey season for me. I love their bourbon, their 27-time gold medal award-winning single malt whiskey, also the rye whiskey. All delicious, but maybe you're a brandy person. Cherry brandy, apple brandy. How about an apple brandy in your hot toddy? A little heated up drink here as the weather continues to get a little bit chillier. Door County Distillery is available everywhere in Wisconsin. Just visit their website or visit your local liquor store. DoorCountyDistillery.com to find the retailer nearest you, as well as a huge list of unique cocktail recipes. We step aside when we come back. Davante Adams has requested a trade. Yikes. Packers-Rams this weekend. Big one. One word for 10 situations in the NFL ahead of Week 5. And we take a look at our world-famous producer, Tiny Hands Hunter Vaughn. That's all still ahead. It's Mr. Relevant. I'm Alex Strouf. Where in the world is Door County Distillery today? It brings me to Sugar River Pizza, the legendary in Sun Prairie, Wisconsin. Let's go to the bar. Let's see what they've got. We're here in the beautiful bar at Sugar River Pizza in Sun Prairie. My guy Kyle just mixed me up a cherry brandy old fashioned with the cherry brandy from Door County Distillery. It's delicious. I tell you it all the time. It's proving it right here. The best.
I'll tell you what, Kyle can make a cocktail.
All right, power ranking. Top 3 drinks to have from Door County Distillery. We're going 3-1. Number 3, it's a split decision, but they're both on the rocks. Either the 27-time gold medal award-winning single malt whiskey or my personal favorite, the bourbon. Right on the rocks. Nice Sunday night, end the weekend. I love it. That's number 3. Number 2, the Cherry Cosmo with that green bottle of gin. That thing tastes like summer. It's unbelievable. It's delicious. You got to try it. Check out the recipe. DoorCountyDistillery.com. Number 1, it's in my left hand right now with the cherry brandy made with local Door County cherries. The cherry brandy old fashioned. That's my list, but there's no wrong answers. You got to find out for yourself. DoorCountyDistillery.com. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Yeah, it's DoorCountyDistillery.com for my friends at Door County Distillery. All right, the report yesterday, Davante Adams has requested a trade from the Las Vegas Raiders. After all sorts of nonsense going on, there was a rumor, I don't know if it's true or not, that a post was made on Instagram floating the idea that Davante Adams has played his final game as a Raider. Now, the rumor is, again, I don't know if this is true or not, but it made its rounds on social media, as Antonio Pierce, the head coach of the Raiders, liked said Instagram post, which, by the way, is public information. You can see who liked post. So, obviously, if the head coach is liking the post, that's not a good sign. And then later, yesterday afternoon, the Raiders said they are open to having conversations with teams, assuming it's for the right package, right? They want a day 2 pick and additional compensation, which could be a player. Let me get this out of the way for all you Packers fans out there. There is a scratch that. There is less than a 0% chance the Packers even inquire about Davante Adams, let alone try to reacquire the wide receiver they traded a few years ago. 0% chance Davante Adams is a Packer. I think there is a chance he goes to the Jets with his old friend Aaron Rodgers. I think there's a chance he goes to the Saints with his wide receiver coach and his college quarterback, Derek Carr. They try that experiment again. I think there is an opportunity for Davante to get out of Las Vegas for the right package, but there's 0% chance he will be a Green Bay Packer. Don't even think about it. Don't even ponder it. It's not happening. There is a less than 0% chance Davante coming back to Green Bay. So get that out of your head immediately. Hunter, you got something on that?
You don't think you said they don't even inquire? Like, I think they at least. No. I think if you're any one of the other 31 teams, even the Chiefs and the Chargers, you at least make the phone call and see what they say.
Oh, the Chiefs will make the phone call.
Yeah,
the Chiefs will make the phone call.
Yeah, but if you're the Chiefs, you know that they're not going to trade him to a division rival. Like, that's just not happening.
Right.
But so my point is that every single team should be at least making the phone call, even if you're the Packers, even with the situation they have. You have to do it.
Let's role play. Let's role play. You be Brian Gutekunst. I will be whoever the Raiders GM is these days because they switch one every year. Give me a phone call quick, Hunter. Go ahead.
Okay. Ring, 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 ring.
Hello, this is the Raiders general manager.
Hey, this is Brian with the Packers. Heard
Click.
the rumors?
Click.
No. There's no way
Click.
they hang up. They at least take the call and they ask, what would you want? Bare minimum. So. I'm not saying it happens. I don't think it happens at all. But you at least make the phone call. You have that conversation.
Fundamentally, I understand where you're coming from. But, I mean, think about what we spent all offseason talking about. The Packers internally view their superpower offensively that they don't have a true number 1 receiver, which they do. His name is Jaden Reed. But they view it as their depth is their superpower. And even with Christian Watson being hurt for at least the next couple of weeks, we would guess. I mean, there's no official ruling on that. He hasn't been placed on IR. We imagine Watson will miss a few games. I don't think the Packers even pick up the phone. And if they do, I don't think the Raiders hang up on him like we just acted out. But I think it would be very close to that reenact. I don't see the Packers. They don't want the money on their books. They don't want to bring back somebody that's clearly disgruntled. I saw the meme, or somebody sent me the meme. It's like of 10 years ago, right? Like you're in high school and the girl doesn't pay attention to you. And then when you're rich and famous or whatever, and in this scenario, that person is Jordan Love. The girl comes crawling back and he's like, nah, you didn't want me then. You don't get me now. I saw a meme like that. I don't know. But that's kind of how I view it, right? Adams wanted out of Green Bay because of the uncertainty with Rodgers and not having a lot of faith in Love. Love has proven he's a pretty darn good quarterback in the NFL, much better than what Davante Adams has dealt with since he's gone to Las Vegas. And maybe he wants to go back to a stable situation with a team that looks like probably a real contender in the league. It ain't happening. So don't get your hopes up, Packers fans. 0% chance. Big matchup, though, this weekend. Matt LaFleur is 4-0 in his career against Sean McVay and the Los Angeles Rams. He has never lost a game to the Rams. A couple of postseason games in there as well. I'm intrigued to see how this one goes. Obviously, the Rams are probably the most beat-up team in all of football. Cooper Kupp not playing, Puka Nacua not playing. I mean, they've just got injuries all over the place. They're 1-3. They haven't looked super good. They got demolished by the Cardinals. They did beat the 49ers, who was a team that is also very beat up in the NFC West. And I imagine it's in L.A. There's going to be a ton of Packers fans there. The Packers not only want this win and should win, they kind of need this win. I don't feel good about 2-3 coming back to Lambeau next week. Jordan Love needs a get-right game after throwing 3 interceptions last week, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, the first Packers quarterback to do it since, you guessed it, Brett Favre in the 90s. Love needs a get-right game, a bounce-back game, and they need a hot start, which they lacked, obviously, this past Sunday against the Minnesota Vikings. This should be a pretty good game, but it should look a little bit like the Rams-Packers game a year ago, which I think was 20-3 was the final. Brett Rippon played quarterback for the Rams in that one. This shouldn't be super competitive. I would guess the Packers get off to a fast start. Jordan Love looks like Jordan Love, and you go, okay. Clean your hands, 3-2. Love is back. Love looks like Love, and you're on to Arizona. We'll preview it a bit more coming up Friday, but that's how I view it as it stands right now. Right? Like, the Rams aren't contending for anything. This beat up. They're probably not a playoff team this year. And maybe they'll have a good stretch down the end of the season, but I do not view the Rams as a very good team. And I don't think anybody should, right? Like, Matthew Stafford's a good quarterback, but he's old and he's injury prone. With no Kupp and Nacua, you don't feel good about that offense. Defensively, you're without one of the greatest, if not the greatest defender of all time who retired in the offseason, Aaron Donald. That defense doesn't really scare me. I mean, they're a fine defense, and they're a well-coached team, but this should be a get-right game for Jordan Love. That's how I view this one. Get-right game. Get-right game for Jordan Love and the Packers offense. Got to start hot. All right, we do this every week. I love this segment. We do this every week, but we're changing it up this week. Little change up on my favorite game we play each Wednesday. It is time now for one word in the NFL ahead of week 5, but we are not doing it for all 32 teams this week. Hunter has written somewhere between a 10 and a dozen topics for me to hit with one word in the NFL world. I will hit you with one word on these topics in the NFL world. Hunter, the floor is yours.
All right. Just had to get the music going there for this. We've already talked about him a little bit, but Davante Adams will be traded to
nobody.
Derrick Henry has 480 rushing yards so far this season.
The trademark on this is one word. Beast mode.
Nick Sirianni.
Dysfunctional.
The Minnesota Vikings are number 2 in the ESPN Power Rankings.
Contenders.
The Green Bay Packers are number 11 again.
Deserved.
Jaden Daniels.
Roy, Rookie of the Year.
Stupid acronyms. The Miami Dolphins will draft a QB in the first round.
True.
Justin Fields.
Turnaround.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Atlanta Falcons for Thursday Night Football.
Sexy. That's a sexy matchup.
And finally, Jared Goff goes 18 for 18.
Perfect. That Lions offense is really good. That was a really nice showing by them on Monday Night Football. The stat of the week is Jared Goff had more receiving touchdowns than he did incompletions as a quarterback in the NFL. That's insane. I mean, that's legitimately bonkers. Jared Goff, who by no means is the, dictionary description of athletic, had more receiving touchdowns this week than he had interceptions. And his coach didn't even give him the game ball. Dan Campbell gave the offensive game ball to Jamison Williams, who had, I think it was a 70-yard touchdown catch on Monday night. But Jared Goff didn't throw an incompletion and also caught a touchdown and didn't get a game ball. It's just a little disrespectful. But I imagine they're going to right that error. Correct that error. So that's our new, we'll still do the all 32 teams here and there, but sometimes we gotta mix it up with our one word. So there's our one word for the NFL headlines. Which other ones did you bring up? Justin Fields is an interesting one to me because Mike Tomlin won't commit to him, but he's 3-1 through 4 weeks. He's been pretty darn solid. Justin Fields is proving how unreliable and dysfunctional and dumpster fiery that the Chicago Bears are when it comes to developing quarterbacks. Justin Fields is a good quarterback. And that was the decision. And I know we talked about it a little bit in the offseason prior to him leaving Chicago and them drafting Caleb Williams is, do the Bears have to flirt with the idea of keeping Justin Fields? Because he's shown some really good flashes, and he did during his tenure in Chicago, but he has turned it around in Pittsburgh. The Vikings is number 2 in the power rankings is probably deserved. They look like the real deal. And I get that the Packers didn't have their top 2 corners and Jordan Love was working his way back. If those aren't the factors, the Packers probably end up winning that game. And they don't miss 2 field goals. But that's a lot of ifs. And the Vikings took care of business. You can only beat who's in front of you. And with wins the last 3 weeks over the Niners, Texans, and Packers, they look like the real deal. And I'm a believer in Kevin O'Connell. Which I don't know if I would have said before the season, but I certainly am a believer through 4 weeks in Kevin O'Connell. Sam Darnold has always gotten a bad rap. I think he's a pretty darn good system quarterback, and that is not a knock. I mean, he has shown he's good enough this year. The Eagles, dysfunctional. The Dolphins, dysfunctional. In terms of it's just, I mean, you're starting Tyler Huntley, who you traded for last week. You don't have a backup quarterback. Tua's going to be out for a while, it seems. So that's no good. But yeah, that Thursday night football game tomorrow night, Bucs-Falcons. It's a sexy matchup. I'm high on the Bucs. I'm high on Baker. I think the Falcons are probably better than they've gotten credit for, and we've seen them on national. Or we saw them on national TV last week. You know, they're an interesting team. They're an interesting team. So we will see what that brings on a short week tomorrow for the Bucs and the Falcons. But that one's got me excited for a Thursday night football matchup. But my hope is I am not watching that game. My hope is I am watching the Brewers Thursday night because that would be a 7:30 start for Game 3 of the Brewers-Mets. So as sexy as I think that matchup is, Hunter, my hope is I do not watch a lick of it.
Well, that's where you get the
Fair?
laptop going because it'll be on Amazon. So you got the Brewer game on your actual
true.
TV, laptop down on the coffee table. Then you can watch both.
But here's the thing. I've never really understood that. I've got several friends who have more than one television in their living room.
That's absurd.
That's never been my thing.
Yeah.
That's never been my thing. Like, you're an adult. You should probably just stick to one TV. I've never been a multiple screen guy. You know, like Red Zone is nice because they'll cut between the games, right?
Yep.
And sometimes they'll go to that octo box or the quad, but they're not there for a long time. That's not like a permanent setup. I've never really understood the multiple TVs in the living room. Of course, producer Groundhog now, Joshy DiMaggio, who has not been listening to us for the last half an hour because he's been on a company call like the good employee he is, pops his head up as soon as I bring up a multiple TV setup. Joshy, what do you got?
Multiple TV setups have to be in your man cave, basement, or in some sort of den. You can't be putting more than one TV in your living room.
What if you live by yourself?
That was going to be my follow-up. The people who have multi-TV setups in the living room, it's usually a single man.
Yeah, that's a bachelor setup.
Yeah, that is. And usually it's on...
Is that a red flag? Like,
Yes.
if you were to invite a woman over,
Yes.
right, you have a really good date, and you're like, hey, you want to come back to my place? She walks in and sees you have 3 TVs set up. That's not going to go over well.
No, not at all. And I've done it. But what I do is I move the TV there and then I move it back. If it's like, March Madness or, something where...
That's the one I will get down with a multiple TV setup is March Madness because there's just so much happening.
You make things happen. But most oftentimes you see it and the setup is like... The TVs aren't really on furniture. They're just kind of propped up on things. They're at different levels. They're different size TVs. It looks terrible.
It's
awful.
guys thinking that their living room is a sports book and they're trying to live in that space all the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, it's just sad.
That's fair. Yeah, never been my thing. Never really gotten that. Hunter, you're a multiple TV guy. Don't lie to us.
No, I'm not. I'm married. Do you think that my wife would let me have multiple TVs?
If you live with a woman, you live with a woman, you got no chance.
That's a good
Exactly.
point. And Hunter's wife, not to put her business on the street, but she does planning for a living. So I imagine I've never been in Hunter's apartment. I imagine the aesthetics of Hunter's apartment are off the charts.
Considered. They're thought of. Uh-oh.
Yes. Well, no, it's just like, it's very thought of, like, yes, she has a very specific plan for everything. There's a very specific look to everything. She's on top of it. And I've tried to battle to get different things added, and I have lost that battle.
Oh, wow.
So the closest I can get is having a bookshelf in our office room, second bedroom that has some comic books on it and a couple of Funko Pops and a Batman statue, and that's about it. So that's the best I can do.
What was the last thing you said?
I've got a Batman statue. Actually, 2 of them that are up, and then some Funko Pops too.
How big?
How big of a statue are we talking?
One of them's probably a little over a foot. It was from when Batman Arkham Knight came out. It was the special edition. Actually, then it's probably closer to 16 inches. And then there is a resin bust from the Batman the Animated Series, one of the episodes. And that one's probably about 6 inches.
Do I?
Yeah.
I know what a bust is, yeah.
You made a face there that made it.
Resin is actually where I got caught
Yeah, it's
up.
just like plastic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hard plastic. Yeah.
Yep. But there's ceramic
pour.
ones and there's other materials. So I said resin because that's what it is.
I can't believe you even attempt to decorate your shared space there. I don't offer anything. I just, whatever you want, fine by me, because I know that probably my ideas aren't going to fit along with the general motif. So I don't even try. Just tell me. Tell me what you want.
Yeah, I am certain. I imagine if the last 3 people in this entire company that were asked to be interior designers or interior decorators.
I think I have a good sense.
I think this is the panel. Joshy.
Yeah.
You don't
lie to yourself.
Don't lie.
I have my apartments looking very, very nice.
Joshy, I have breaking news. Earlier today, you and I were talking about the legend known as Pretty Ricky.
Yeah.
He just tweeted, "Is this thing on?" He's
No
back.
way.
Devontae?
Pretty Ricky is back to report on the Devontae Adams news. That's amazing.
Oh, I love it.
I would.
You heard the bat signal go out.
If we set a higher or lower on Underdog for Pretty Ricky sources connected to the Devontae Adams situation, 2.5, like two and a half good sources, higher or lower.
This one's particularly interesting. I know you guys talked about Devontae, but everyone just knew before the season this was going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
And we all kind of just pretended like it wasn't, and now it's happening, but they're not really commenting on it.
You got to give Greeny credit, right? Greeny said, Devontae will be a Jet by Halloween.
Yeah.
I mean, it's October 2nd. It's not looking too bad.
No,
It's looking like a pretty sharp prediction.
I want them to fail so bad.
The Jets?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you do. You hate Aaron Rodgers. All right. I want you to succeed, though, on Underdog and UnderdogFantasy.com. The Underdog app, free to download. All you got to do, download the app, put in promo code GOODKARMA, all one word, GOODKARMA, at sign up on the Underdog app or UnderdogFantasy.com. You will get up to a $1,000 deposit match when you sign up, and you get a free pick when you sign up using the promo code GOODKARMA. All you do on the Underdog app, you just pick higher or lower on player projections. So I've got one for tonight's crucial do-or-die baseball game here in Milwaukee. Sean Manaea, lower 5.5 strikeouts. Frankie Montas, higher 4.5 strikeouts. Sal Frelick, of course, higher half total bases, 0.5 total bases. That is my 3-pick entry on the Underdog app in the Pick'em game. 25 to win 85.5. Manaea, lower 5.5 strikeouts. Frankie Montas, higher 4.5 strikeouts. Sal Frelick, higher than 0.5 total bases on the Underdog app. Use promo code GOODKARMA at signup.
I'm not sure about what this team is. They've beaten 2 really bad teams that are going to probably be fighting to draft Shadur Sanders in the top 5 come April. That doesn't tell you much about them. They had a great pass rush against the bad Tennessee team. The pass rush couldn't show up against the good Minnesota team. You need the pass rush to show up against the good team, not the bad team.
That is the world-famous producer Tiny Hands on his most recent appearance on the Dam Sports Show, ESPN Beaver Dam, 1430 a.m. in Beaver Dam from 4 to 5 p.m. Joshy?
One question. Did you run a tin can and a string from Madison all the way to Beaver Dam? What does that sound?
I've tried multiple different things for my call-in setup. Every time it sounds like that. Either my phone is garbage or there literally is a string from my phone to AM 1430. It's one or the other.
Let's hear straight from the source. Cory Sparks, Wally Lacachinsky, the hosts of the all-new Dam Sports Show, 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam from 4 to 5 p.m. each weekday. Join me now. Cory, Wally, is it a tin can setup? What's going on with Hunter there? Cory, I'm going to go to you because you seem like the technical director, and it looks like Wally. What do you got on there, Wally? You wearing
some suspenders?
Are you wearing suspenders?
You have to. As a big fellow right here, close to 3 bills. You got to have the suspenders.
I love that.
It's a physical
Cory,
cam.
what do we get? What's the setup?
Cam. Yeah, it's a physical cam.
Okay,
we run a wire all the way down the highway, and then I have to tape it down so no one cuts the connection. And then I run it back after the call is over, and I meet Hunter in Sun Prairie, and then we're good from there.
I like that. Good stuff.
Yeah.
So how did this come to be? And we'll talk about the Dam Sports Show. I'm going to let you guys talk about that a ton. But I need to know how Hunter Vaughn weekly appearance on the Dam Sports Show came to be.
Yeah, per the GKB sales process, I just cold called him, and he said yes. Yeah, I was like, well, we'd love to have you on. We knew about the ESPN Wisconsin small and large school media polls for the prep football scene, knew that Hunter was at the forefront of it. We were like, yeah, let's get him on for that. And then before you know it, we're also talking Badgers, Packers, Brewers, Bucks, everything in there. And we've got some grades for him. We've got the red pen. We've covered his grades today. And we will be doing a full report per your request.
Yes, I appreciate your service, fellas. You two are the best in the biz when it comes to, and I believe truthfully, there is nobody more qualified to be a quote unquote like substitute teacher in this company than Wally Lacachinsky. He just gives me like the substitute teacher vibes that everybody would be really freaking pumped to have. He walks in wearing the suspenders. He walks in and goes, all right, let's talk some U.S. history. Let's go, baby. So did we come up with a rubric? Like, how are we grading and assessing Hunter's performance through the first 3 weeks of the Dam Sports Show? How are we looking at this, fellas?
Yeah, the rubric has 3 categories. We have analysis, we have funny anecdotes, and we have predictions.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Well,
all right. So let's start with the first one.
Okay.
No, go ahead,
Wally.
Wally.
With analysis first there.
Yeah, analysis.
All right. Well, obviously, you guys are very aware of your man Hunter out there. His analysis spot on so far. made me feel a lot better coming out of this weekend with the Packers. I was a little glass half empty after the Badgers game too. So we had to at least give him that heavy grade early. So A+, we're giving him a plus even there for the analysis
Hold on,
here.
slow down.
Well, yeah.
Slow down.
I like
slow
it.
down a minute. Slow down. Hold on, Wally. You started. I watched Hunter's appearance on the show, so you're not getting this past me. All right? You started the show by saying, Hunter, you and I were both wrong about the same thing last week. That is where the appearance began. How are you giving him an A+ when you started the show with him being wrong?
There's a different category for that. There's predictions. We can go to that next.
Oh, okay.
Predictions.
All right, got it.
Yep. So when he analyzes like anything, he's breaking it down whether he was right or wrong. That's an A+. Predictions. He drank Wally's Kool-Aid and said the Badgers were going to win. That's going to be a C-. I would go D or F,
Okay.
but I think Wally twisted his arm. Because at first Hunter said they're covering the spread, and then we saw the prediction was the Badgers were going to win outright. So predictions were going to go C-. We got to be fair.
Yeah,
I
that's
can live
fair.
with that.
Yeah, not great. Not great in that department. I got to be better.
It's not. It's not your forte.
No, it really isn't. That's why I'm so bad at underdog.
It looked good at 5 o'clock on Saturday, guys. I'm telling you, Hunter and I were strutting our stuff on Twitter. We're doing high stuff, and I was Deion Sanders at the 40. And then, the next 30 minutes happened, and radio silent, DND on the phone. Things are going great.
Yeah, that was the most roller coaster Saturday I've had in a long time. That was bad.
Yeah, it didn't turn out well. Funny anecdotes, I believe, was the third category on said rubric, Cory?
Yes, it was. And I'm going to steal it from him just because we got to, again, we know he was living the bachelor life a little bit last week, even though he's not a double TV setup guy. A little disappointed to hear that. I am the sad one. But that's fine. He did have his frozen pizza conundrum, so definitely solid A there. So I think he's got to be rocking somewhere in that B average right now. Through a couple appearances.
Okay,
I like it.
Now, Wally, I'm going to put you on the spot then. I need you to list all of your weekly guests. How many weekly guests do you guys have slated? I know it's only week 3 of the program. We're going to talk about the program, how it came to be, what fans can look forward to each day from 4 to 5 on ESPN Beaver Dam. But how many weekly guests do you have currently, including Hunter?
So we have 3. We actually just got Gabe Neitzel to agree to come in on Mondays, so we're looking forward to talking everything Milwaukee with him. We have Hunter on Tuesdays, as you mentioned, and then we have actually Jason Wilde on both Wednesdays and Fridays. So 4 o'clock today, give us a listen. You'll get to hear us ask Jason Wilde some questions.
So before I get to where Hunter stacks up, I just heard Hunter laugh because he is in the same category as Gabe Neitzel and Jason Wilde. Hunter, any words?
I've made it. Like, my career's good. I can coast forever now. I'm in the same company with those two. I'm good.
Yeah, that's pretty good. It's pretty good. But my co-hosts on Green Bay Game Day, it's amazing. You know what? I'm just going to chalk it up to I am on the air with KBN until 5 o'clock. That's why I haven't been asked. That's what I'm going to chalk it up to. Joshy is smirking beyond belief back there. What do you got, Joshy?
I think anytime Hunter's out or has to miss it, you have to be the call in the situation and just be the fill-in. Maybe pre-record. You guys can do it.
So I should be Hunter's fill-in.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, hold on. Hunter, are you okay with that?
Okay, my problem here is that the second I get any sort of airtime, anything at all, I've got Alex Strouf. Oh, he should be the fill-in. I'm here in Madison. I got Molly Brown getting pissed off that she didn't get asked for it. Like, heaven forbid I get a little bit of airtime and I get to do something. You vultures are just trying to take it away from me.
Vultures?
I was just trying to be helpful.
Gross.
I'm just trying to help you out when you have an off day. All right, Cory.
I won't have an off day.
Wally Lacachinsky.
I'm an
the
Iron
Damn
Man.
Sports Show, 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam. Weekdays from 4 to 5, 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam. Really cool thing you guys are starting. ESPN Beaver Dam, just to give a quick history lesson, is only 2 years old, right? We just flipped formats on 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam. Cory, you've been with the team about a year. Wally, you're brand new, but you've got plenty of Wisconsin ties. And just a couple weeks ago, you guys launched from 4 to 5 each days. Wally, we'll start with you. What can fans expect from the Damn Sports Show, 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam?
I think you guys can already kind of tell we don't take ourselves too seriously, but we really bust our hump. We put a lot of effort in, so we're going to be bringing in as much credibility as possible with guys like Hunter calling in, so you're always going to have someone to be ready there to answer your Packers, Brewers, Bucks, or local prep sports questions. So it pretty much is high energy. I'm a little bit chaotic, off the walls, and that's why this guy's here to keep me on the track.
No way.
The man wearing suspenders is chaotic. Before I get to Cory, Wally, I recently saw a video of you emerge on the ESPN Beaver Dam social media platforms. You participated in a punt pass kick competition with it looked like about 7-year-olds, and you were talking trash to them. Are we going to see more of that content from the Dam Sports Show?
I think leaning into your skill sets and really important in life, and bullying kids and winning punt pass competitions just feels like a natural fit for me. So yeah, I think that you can expect a lot more things like that from at least this big fella.
Yeah, you don't take yourselves too seriously. I can't tell. Cory Sparks, my good friend. What can we expect from the Dam Sports Show? Weekdays from 4 to 5, ESPN Beaver Dam.
Yeah, obviously we have Hunter on, and Alex, when you take over as his backup, if we're going to do that, you do have to carry the can all the way over to Sun Prairie, and we're going to run the wire to make sure we can get you on there. But yeah, we are doing Packers, Badgers, Brewers, Bucks, your prep sports coverage, different interviews like that. We want to mix credibility and being in-depth with being goofy. And yeah, you can expect more of Wally doing whatever you want to call that performance from about a week ago. Someone brought up, we had someone who's trying out for the Women's U.S. Open, McKenna Nelson, who's a Beaver Dam native. Her dad wanted to see him do that, but at a golf event. So if you could imagine him trash-talking 14-year-old girls at a golf event, that's, that might be what's on the docket next. At the driving range, maybe?
Right up your alley. Right up his alley. I love that. That's a phenomenal idea. I want a series of Wally bullying local children. Just call it Wally bullies children. I mean, you could do bowling, you could do golf, you could do... Yeah, it does. I mean, you know what we do really well in this company is we put people in positions to best utilize their skill sets. You bullying local children seems like a great content idea to utilize your best skill sets. Is that unfair?
No, if anything, I was telling him I'm educating children on what failure is early on. They're going to get a real swift pace when I'm kicking the ball into orbit each time I'm around them.
A quick taste of reality, quick dosage of reality from the great Wally Lacachinsky. Cory Sparks of the Dam Sports Show, ESPN Beaver Dam, weekdays from 4 to 5. Fellas, appreciate the time, appreciate you taking the extra effort to create the rubric, and we will do it again soon, all right?
Sounds good. Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks, fellas. It's Wally and Cory, the dynamic duo of the Dam Sports Show that have made Hunter's ego way bigger than it's necessary. But I got to be honest, I kind of like egotistical Hunter. He said, and I quote, I believe the direct quote was, "My career is good."
Yeah, I'm in the same breath as Jason Wilde and Gabe Neitzel. Like, I made it, man. I'm good. This is great.
Yeah. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Joshy, what are your takeaways from that conversation we just had? We broke down Hunter's performance. We looked at suspenders, talked about bullying children.
I think Hunter is really soaking this in, taking his moment to shine here, which I'm glad for it. I do find it celebrating being in that same company. I will also take those same wins when they present themselves. So, man after my own heart, fake it till you make it. You made it now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I am a little nervous now, like the fact that they bookend me in their week. Like, that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of pressure.
Yeah, you got to bring it. And look, I mean, Joshy's already skeptical of the ESPN Wisconsin high school football poll, which was released once again yesterday for the large school and small school polls, top 10 teams in each category in high school football throughout the 7 divisions. Joshy's already skeptical. But you're winning them back over, which is a good sign.
Uh-huh.
I mean, this is good for camaraderie amongst our show. This is good for, healthy work relationships between the two of you, which I was a little worried about after last week's conversation around Mukwonago. So I think we're in good shape.
Yeah,
I'm good.
I'm feeling good about it, and McWanago's going to have some opportunities here to really prove themselves. So it'll be good.
We'll be good. We'll be good. All right, you learn something new every day. We learned something new today. It is time now to wrap up the show as we always do with what we learned. Who's first? Who wants to go first?
I got a quick one, quick hitter.
All right, go ahead, Josh.
I just saw this highlight from Doug Peterson, Jacksonville Jaguars head coach. He wanted to come out and say he has not lost the locker room, and that's a guy who lost the locker room.
Oh, yeah. That's a guy who lost the locker room.
Wait, if you have to say, no, actually, it's not this bad, it's that bad.
Yeah, that is correct. Yeah, that is. Yeah, they're bad.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And somehow he made Trevor Lawrence worse, which is not really what you're looking for there after you paid him all that money.
No.
Bad situation there.
It's going to be an interesting one, man. I mean, that's a team that I think a lot of people had high hopes for. And obviously a quarterback a lot of people had high hopes for, the former number 1 overall pick. It's a train wreck. I mean, there's a few teams this year. It feels, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but it feels this year, I mean, we're only entering week 5. So we're only, right around that quarter of the season, regular season point right now. It feels like teams that are really bad and teams that are really good are separating themselves earlier. And there's more of them than typical. Right, like I feel like we could rattle off 6, 7, 8 teams that are really bad, and probably 4 or 5 teams that are really good through the first 4 weeks of the season that we envision will remain the case the remainder of the season.
To give actual analysis on that, I think there is have and have-nots because QB play obviously biggest separator, and the next is like offensive line and just offensive play calling. You can see teams that are ready to handle the modern form of defenses and some that look like it's absolutely hopeless and that they have no prayer. And I think if you don't have that the skills, the players or the play calls to beat the current meta on defense with that too high shell, that you go out to roll the ball out there and you just have to hope for something lucky to happen, which is what seems to be a lot of teams' plans at this point.
No, you're totally right. And the Jags certainly fall in to that category. Hunter, what do you got?
ESPN released a new updated ranking of college football recruiting classes for this next year. The Badgers sitting at 28, which feeling good about it until I realized that they are 10th of the 18 Big Ten teams. They're behind Rutgers and Maryland even.
Oh, good.
Little.
Well, hold on. So how do we feel overall, right? You said 28th or 26th?
They're 28th, one spot below SMU.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, right? Where do the Badgers need to operate to truthfully compete? Do they need to be a top 10 recruiting class every year? I don't know. I don't know that there's a right answer, but 28 and 10th in the Big Ten doesn't sound that appealing to me.
No, the 10th in the Big Ten is the most concerning when Rutgers and Maryland and Nebraska are getting better recruiting classes than you. And I know those are just numbers and the stars don't 100% mean anything, but usually the teams that finish up higher in recruiting classes typically do better. So Luke Fickell might need to try and flip a couple of guys. Maybe a certain cornerback in Trey Poteet from Verona here, who's a 4-star, leaving the state, going to Tennessee. Not a good look, especially when Tennessee is a top 10 recruiting class.
You're not wrong about that. So we will see. But after last weekend, man, my Badgers mojo and juice is just non-existent. I'm checked out. I just wake me up when Greg Gard proves the haters wrong again, right? Like wake me up at basketball season. I have no juice for the football season anymore after that loss to USC. The way in which they lost, they just killed it. And I'll still watch, but
see, and then
I don't have any expectations.
Yeah,
I
I'm just kind of I kind of want to just see some of the freshmen play, and I know they'll save that so they keep their 4 games they can play in 4 games and still maintain being redshirted.
Right.
So that's kind of where we're at until the tail end of the season, I think. But then once basketball season starts too, you get Shaka Smart, so he'll actually be fun and entertaining and won't lull you to sleep like Badger basketball will.
No, they won't. I think they're going to be better than people expect this year. But that's
I think they'll be good.
We'll talk about that.
They're just kind of boring. That's all. And Greg Gard's just kind of boring. Like,
You're boring.
Get him, Joshy.
wow, great comeback. Like, I'm just saying that that they are. Like, I'm not saying they're a bad team at all. Like, they'll probably beat Marquette because that's usually that's what Wisconsin does early in the season.
Kind of what they do. It's on my that game's on my birthday this year. It's a Saturday.
Ooh,
Happy early birthday.
Thank you, Joshy. Thank you. You should really be wishing that to Ben Brust, whose birthday is tomorrow, and he will let everybody he talks to know about it.
I'm glad I don't work in Milwaukee.
I won't do it.
But my birthday is Wisconsin at Marquette. This is my first year living in Milwaukee, so kind of fun. I just think that's kind of a fun Saturday. It's gonna be a big day, Joshy.
Yeah.
I hope you're preparing 2 months ahead
You'll be
of time.
such a degenerate that day.
I have on more than one occasion when they come to town started drinking around 8 a.m.
Yeah, I'll see you there.
Fill up the door counties, get going,
Fill up the door counties.
and you just ride it through. The bars will be open all night. People will be out all day. It's a real good time.
Josh, I'll see you there, huh?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay, good stuff. Good stuff. Hey, what I learned, and maybe I'm just naive or not paying attention, and Hunter, you'll have to be the one to correct me on this. I didn't realize conference realignment was still happening, as earlier this week Gonzaga announced they will join the new look Pac-12 for basketball. It doesn't look like it'll be a football conference, but that includes Boise State, Colorado State, Fresno State, San Diego State, Utah State, Washington State, and Oregon State. Gonzaga, the only one without state at the end of their name in the new look Pac-12. Also saw news that Texas El Paso will be joining the new look Mountain West. So I thought we were done with conference realignment after this past year, and now the new look Big Ten and kind of killing the Pac-12 in terms of a football conference. I thought we were done. But now I've been seeing a bunch of articles and news pop up that conference realignment is still happening. I thought we were done with that. So I learned conference realignment is still happening. I didn't realize that was still a thing right now.
Yeah, the Pac-12, the remaining schools with Oregon State and Washington State were given 2 years in order to maintain the Pac-12 name and still be considered a conference. So they needed to get the number. They have to get the number for football up to 8 schools, I believe it is. So there will still be more. There's still been talks of UConn potentially leaving the Big East to go to the Big 12 for basketball, but with Gonzaga going to the Pac-12, that might change now. So there will still be more of it. It's going to be dumb. It's annoying. It'd be so nice if there were nice, easy, regionalized conferences that could all be playing remotely close to each other so you don't have cross-country games. But, what do I know? It's not like that ever worked before in college sports.
Yeah, fair enough. We will see. I also saw the sign, which I thought was funny. It's on the front page of ESPN.com today, an article about UNLV. And we talked last week about Matthew Sluka, the quarterback who transferred out after 3 games because he had a verbal agreement to make $100K and he never saw a dollar of it. The sign says, "Hey Sluka, it's UNLV, not UNILV." Thought that was kind of clever. Anyway, all right, that does it for us. We're back with you Friday. Thank you, Hunter. We're back with you Friday to preview Packers-Rams. We will also recap whatever happens in this wild card round. I am not attending a funeral tonight for the Milwaukee Brewers. Refuse to attend a funeral. But I will be there as the Brewers force a Game 3. We'll recap the wild card series as well as take a look ahead at Packers-Rams coming up Sunday on Friday's edition. Beginning at 12:30, the ESPN Milwaukee, ESPN Madison YouTube channels, the ESPN Madison Facebook page, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. It's Mr. Irrelevant, presented by Door County Distillery, also brought to you by our friends from Underdog, UnderdogFantasy.com. Use promo code GoodKarma at sign up, $1,000 deposit match up to, and a free pick. That does it for us. It's Mr. Irrelevant. I'm Alex Strouf. Peace.